Hi everyone, I'm Donna. Welcome and welcome back. Today I'm going to show you some signatures that I have been making. I just got it into my head the other day that I wanted to have some pre-made signatures ready so that if I was putting a journal together, I could just kind of go and pick and choose a few pre-made pages, and I would kind of be halfway there. I just thought it was a handy thing to have ready in my stash. So I've been putting together some journals, and I've been some signature pages. And I've been using a selection of scrap bits of paper from my scrap box, kind of single or loose book pages and things that I've just got lying around, as well as some full-size sheets of copy paper and lined paper and things like that. So one of the ones that I've made is this one. I've just hinged part of a book page there. I've used a scrap to hinge it. I've used a scrap of some digital there to make a little pocket. Again, we've got some scraps here which I've put on as a tab. Opening up, and I've just made another pocket here from some scraps. Scraps of paper here I've made a pocket from. This is a full book page which I have stuck on to the back and folded it in, and that makes a flap there. And again, this is a pocket I made from a book page that I just had lying around. I'd taken a few pages out. You know, when a signature is sewn in, so you end up with like that signature pulling out from the book. This was just one of those pages that I had left. And then this is the back side of this, which I've stuck on to make a little flap. And I've got another scrap there to make a pocket. So that was that one. Something similar here, just with some different papers that I had. A scrap piece there I put on to make a pocket. This was just a piece of the collared paper left from when I did my woodland kit. I was doing the front cover, so I had that lying around. That is the other side of this. So I've just made it, I've just folded it over there. Pocket here for some scraps. A scrap piece of paper here from, I'd obviously been cutting circles. And another piece of scrap that I had here that I've put on to make a little tuck spot. And just a picture of a bird that I put on for some decoration. Piece of ribbon that I had lying around. And this was the other one that I made again, just from pieces from my scrap box that I just kind of stuck together. This one I folded up, which I'm planning to stick that down as a pocket. But yeah, again, and as I said, they are quite scrappy. They're hanging off the sides. They are very kind of organic. I didn't plan too much or think too carefully about what I was doing. I just literally got bits of paper and stuck them together. This is what it looks like on the back. So, like for example, there's a lot more scope on this one to do some decorating, to perhaps add a pocket on or some embellishments or images. Again, I would probably do something here. This needs sticking down. But I think that's, I left that as a tuck spot, but I might glue that down. But as you can see, they're very creative, they're very versatile, they're a good way of using up your odd bits of paper, and they can be as scrappy as you want them to be. Now, I liked the idea of having kind of bits hanging off slightly, not having them completely equal size. I liked the idea of having some decorative pages hanging off, because when you put them into a journal, they will sit in like this, and you get to see all the nice scrappy bits hanging off from the outside, which I thought is a nice effect. So I'm going to show you how I went about making these. There was kind of two approaches I took. This approach is probably the quickest and easiest, where I started with just a folded piece of paper, just some lined paper, and I built on top. And these other two, I started just with a larger scrap and just arranged my papers over the top until they made some form of page, and just, you know, I kind of just to kind of see what I came up with. This type isn't as quick or as easy as the other way, but both work well. So I think it just depends what you've got, what you want to do with it, and you know, how you want to work. So I'm going to grab some different pages together and some different scraps, and then we will start putting some more signature pages together. So I've kind of got a whole host of things here. So I've collected some book pages. These are more of the bird pages, which I have obviously taken out of a book at some point. So I've got those, some dictionary pages. I've just got some tea-dyed envelopes that I've just found, which obviously stuck themselves closed when I was dyeing them, which must have been why I put them away. So I've got those, and just some dotted tea-dyed paper, some scrappy bits of paper, some drop sheets, and again just some grid paper, just all sorts really, book pages, some digital scraps of digitals, some full pages, some tea-dyed, some papers here, more book pages, some music paper. So as I say, when I say scrappy signatures, I don't necessarily mean pure scraps. What I mean is, you know, just bits that you've got lying around that can be put together to make something. I've also got a bag of tea-dyed paper and coffee-dyed paper in here. And I have got also a scrap box here that's just got lots of scrappy little extras and interesting bits in them. So I'm going to have a look through and see what I can use as a starting point, what would make a good base, and what we can use to build on top of that base to put our signature together. Now I'm just going to bring this in because I have gone about and just sectioned off the size of an A4 piece of paper, just so that I've got an idea of how large to make the signature pages that we're doing, because obviously I do want it to be able to fit inside a journal. So maximum is obviously, you know, to the outside of here. Anything smaller than that's going to work, but I don't want anything too much bigger than this area. So I'm going to put this down. I'm going to keep this down and work from here. I'm going to have a look through, and rather than rummaging about on camera, I'll have a look through, show you what I've chosen, and then we'll kind of see how I can fit them together. So looking through at what I've got, I thought this might be a good piece to start with. Now obviously it's too big for the area that I need. However, if I do a little bit of folding, I might be able to make it work somehow. And I just thought it was a nice size and also a nice strength of paper to make a nice strong base. So what I was thinking is, if I put it there like that, and we folded this up, we're going to create a pocket here. So that's one option, is that we make a pocket there like that. Now obviously that fits into my area, however it wouldn't fit into a journal, because I just get a piece of paper because in my journal, I'm obviously folding that in half. So it needs to kind of be this size once it's folded. So what I then thought I could do is fold these back somehow to make some more pockets there. So if I folded it that way, I've then made a pocket that goes here and a side pocket, plus a pocket here. If I did that on both of them, like that, and then folded, that then gives me just about the right size. Okay, now as I say, I don't mind it being a little bit bigger because it's nice to have things hanging out, and I also quite like how that's not folded perfectly in line with each other, because I think that makes it look interesting as well. And I think the key to these is interest and texture. So I like that, and then when we open it, we've got these two pockets here as well. Now obviously the only downside to that now is that we've already created quite a lot of the kind of Scrappy signature, because we've done a lot of pockets there without having to add much extra onto it. So looking at my other things, this might be an interesting piece to use because it's already cut up and it's kind of about the same size as that. So what I could do is perhaps have that on there, treat it as a flick. That could turn up and we'd have our pocket on the inside there. It does hang out, but again, I'm not too bothered about having a little bit of the papers hanging down from the sides, from the bottom or from the sides. And also once we've folded this up to make a flip, we've lost quite a bit of that anyway. So that might be an idea that we could use on there. So that would flick up like so. That could be that one. So again, I'm just looking through really and seeing what it is that I could do. So we've got a pocket here, so I could use something that maybe flicks in this way. So, or we could put something here with it which extends out. So I'm going to have another flick through, see what I can find, and then I'll show you what I found. So I've got a little bit of an idea of what I'm going to do. I have repositioned this, rejigged it so it was folding out like that. I've decided to have it coming in, and then I found this double book page, and I thought I could pop that inside there so it fits on like that. That would flip out. We can have some pages in here or a pocket or something. This would be a pocket, and I still keep the pocket here, and I still have this pocket here and this pocket here. So that was the plan to begin with. I also found this scrap piece of paper, which is about identical size to my flap here. So if I put that on there, that could go on there, and I can just use this scrap to help stick that down and just to cover that blank, that little blank bit up there. So that's what I'm thinking for the moment. So what I'm going to do is get a bone folder and kind of fold this down in place, because I've done quite a bit of folding on this larger piece of paper. It is thicker than the other ones that I've done, so I just want to make sure that all my creases are nice and sharp to minimise as much bulk as possible. So that's that. Just get these bits folded. Like that. And I mean, as I say, anything goes with these. It's quite difficult to kind of do a tutorial as such, because it just depends on what you have, how you want to put it together. So I just thought I would just show you, you know, how I've been making them. But as I say, this one is going in a completely different direction to the other ones that I've made, and I'm making this one in a completely different way. Those other three that I showed you at the beginning, they were all made different from each other. So the best thing to do with these is to just make a start and just see where your paper takes you. That's what I would suggest. I didn't do any inking on individual bits either in the other ones, and I'm not going to do any with this one either. I just want to have everything as like a base, a neutral base ready to go really. So I'm going to pop that central onto there. So the first thing I'm going to do is just put a little bit of my Pritt stick onto, it's going to go onto this bottom bit of the fold, because this is what I'm going to stick down. So just a little bit on there. Like that. Make sure I'm at the top. Okay. So that's stuck down there. And I want this to cover it. I'm not even bothered about making sure, you know, that looks all neat with corners. I mean, what you could do, if it does bother you, where are my little scissors? What you could do is, before you glue it, you just mitre those, but it's entirely up to you. Okay, so that's those done. I'm going to put that here, like that. So I'm going to put some glue on there. That will just secure that in place. I'm sorry, all I'm doing off camera is I'm just gluing here on my my glue book. It's just off here to the side. It's freezing here today, so apologies if I'm sounding a bit shaky. It's probably because I am. I'm wearing 2 jumpers, a cardigan and a scarf, and I'm still cold. But can't justify putting the heating on, oops, during the day, so extra layers is the answer. Okay, so that's on there like that. Is that straight? I don't even think I've put that on straight. Move it up a little bit. Right, so that's going to be our flicky thing that goes out. We'll just leave that for the moment till I know what I'm doing. Get that bird's page back. Now, what did I say I was going to do? I was going to put that in here like this, wasn't I? So I want glue now down here and down here to make this pocket, and then that would go, let me think, what was I going to do? Was it that way? Not like that, not like that. Was it this way? Let me have a think. I can't remember. Let me work it out and then I'll get back. Okay, so it needs to go in this way. I'm going to glue here and here to make that pocket. And then that would then fold in. That's it. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to glue here and here. Now I'm praying this glue works. I've been having so much trouble. with these glues. So I'm hoping it's going to come out first time, and it is. It's playing along today, kind of. I'm not going to put too much on it. It's quite thick paper, this, but you know, I still want to be wary of it warping. Right, so that's going in there like that. That's going to go in to where I want it. So that's stuck on 3 sides. I've got my pocket there still. Now, I don't want to stick there. I don't think. Oh, I've done it wrong. I've done it wrong. That's the bit I want to go in. Do you know? That's the bit I want to go in. I'm all over the place. I'm sorry. I do apologise. I hope this is making sense. My husband is, you know, the thing. And it's just all been a bit full on. So that's the way I want it. Then we fold it in. Okay, so I then want this as a pocket. So I only want to stick down here. Like that. So that's that stuck down. And just that. And I'm going to need all of that stuck down, aren't I? So I'm just going to get my glue stick for that, because this doesn't need to not be stuck. So let's get the glue stuck down on here. And this is why I say some of them can be more difficult than others, because some of them can get a little bit scrappy and you're kind of lifting bits of paper up to fit things in. But it's all part of the fun, really. Just embrace it. You know, as I said, mine went wrong. If I hadn't realised that mine was going to go wrong then, and it was going to be stuck in a way I didn't want it, I would have just adapted what I was doing, you know, because there's really no right or wrong with these. So, see, that was wrong. I didn't want to stick that whole thing down, did I? Do you know? Right, so let's get this glue cleaned up here. Good job this isn't a tutorial, is it? Because I'm all over the place. And do you know what? Because I've done that, I'm just going to stick it down. It's better than trying to get glue off, and I'll just put something else there. It's not an issue. These are Scrappy signatures. They're not going to be perfect, and we'll just fix the mistake. Okay, so that goes like that. I've got a pocket there, pocket there, pocket there. This will flip out. We can do something here. I was going to have a pocket there, but I haven't already. That's fine. I will just stick something onto there. And now I need to have a look at what else I can do. I definitely need something here because I've made a mess of that. So I need to cover that up. And yeah, we'll just do a little bit of fixing. Let's see what we can find. There we go. If I put that there, I can make a tuck spot. Fixed. Okay. See? Dead easy. If it goes wrong, no worries. Just do a little bit of fixing. I do want to, though, put some glue underneath there. The reason I'm trying to use glue stick is because on the other ones, it's not going to fit, is it? On those other ones, I used some tacky glue and it yellowed some of the paper, which isn't ideal. So, but it doesn't look like it's gonna. However, if I just covered it, if I did that, that would stick that down, wouldn't it? And then this would stick that down. Should I just do that? That works, doesn't it? And this is what I mean. This is why I call them Scrappy signature pages, because it is just a case of seeing what you've got and how you can create pockets and interest with what you've got. There's no right or wrong, and it's one of those things you can just get kind of lost in. The reason I'm probably faffing a little bit is because I'm on camera and I suppose I'm trying to do a tutorial-ish, but it doesn't really lend itself to a tutorial because you've just kind of got to kind of do what you want to do. I could do a pocket and pocket. I mean, there's loads of things I could do now, isn't there? Let's see if I've got something slightly longer. I'm just wanting to hide that up there. Let's see what I've got. What's in here? I could put that up there. Put something towards the bottom. Or I could just move that in a little bit. I'm going to want a little bit of space there anyway, aren't I? Could just do that. Right, I think I'm going to do that. Maybe have I got something scrappy or interesting for there? Could do that, couldn't I? Or you could do something decorative. So you've got something like that, decorative, hanging off your page, which is nice because when you close it, are you even on the page? When you close it, you can see all the scrappy bits hanging off. So I think I will do that. So let's sort out my mistakes. Let's stick this bit down, get everything out of the way. Right, come on Donna, get it together. I've had very little sleep. I've been doing my jobs and doing my husband's jobs, and it's just been one of those. But I'm gonna try and get it together now for the rest of the video. So let's stick that down. Again, I'm just over here doing the sticking. Get this stuck. That will hide that sticky bit where I put the glue where I didn't really want it. Put that down there. But to be honest, the scrappier these look, the more mistakes you do, the more you're forced to cover them up, the more interesting they look, which is always good. So you kind of want to make a mistake. I'm making mistakes on purpose for the sake of creativity. That's what I'm doing. I've lost that piece of paper. Where's that gone? Here we go. So I'm going to put that equal with it so it hangs out. Like that. That will be a nice bit of interest hanging out the bottom. Why have I got two of those? Hanging out the bottom, and then I'm just going to stick that on as a tuck. A little interesting tuck spot like that, and it's sorted. Cut that bit of white off at the bottom. But disaster averted. There's always something you can do. Well, you know, any crafting, you know, it applies to any crafting, but particularly with things like this. I'm just going to glue 1, 2, 3. There's always an alternative. Just find another scrap. And kind of work out, find a different way that you can use it, or that it can be used to cover a mistake. Or if you've stuck something down wrong, in the wrong place, just find something else to stick over it. There's no right or wrong with this. They're scrappy signature pages, and the scrappier the better. So I'll stick that on. To be honest, I actually think I like this more because it is actually scrappier than what I had first planned out. So I'm liking that. Yeah. Okay, so we'll leave that one there for the moment. What have I got on the back? I've got nothing on the back yet. This is now, why isn't that sticking down? This is now a little scrappy tuck spot. That flicks out like that. That comes out like that, and I've got this pocket. And that flicks up. Okay, so I'm going to have another look at what I've got. Then I will show you what I found and we'll do the next bit. It's a different day, so hopefully the light is still okay. It hasn't changed too much. So I found this piece of paper which I had in my box for when I was doing the woodland book. So all I've done is made a little tab there. I'm going to stick it inside this pocket as a little flip, and then smooth this up so you can see. I'm going to just put this piece of paper here for no other reason than it just adds a bit of interest and just finishes off that pocket there. So tiny bit of glue. Use my tacky glue. No, actually I won't. I'll use the Pritt stick. That's the old one. Let's get the new one. Right, so I'm just going to put a tiny bit of glue on there and pop that over the pocket. Again, the aim with this is just to add interest and flips and tucks and scraps and just interesting elements, because then what you can do in your journal is have loads of blank pages and slip one of these in, you know, maybe into one signature, and you've got a nice fully rounded journal without having to put loads of pockets in and this, that and the other. So that's my thinking behind it. I'm just going to stick that down there. And then I have something as well for the other side. So let's just pop this down. Make sure you're on camera, I hope you are. So just putting that there. I mean, I know I've tucked the tab behind the pocket, but I just feel like this looks a little bit like a hinge, adds a bit of interest, and it just covers that area a bit. So we have a little flip out there. And then for over here, I just found a piece of paper to cover this join, and it's adding things like this where I feel you get that real sense of scrappiness. Just adding these really interesting bits with mark making and different elements. I think it all starts to come together really nicely. Let's get a new glue page and a new glue. And again, this isn't cut straight, it isn't measured, it's just I found it in my scrap box and I just thought I could use it, and it's all starting to come together now. I have found this scrap piece of paper here, and what I thought might be quite interesting is to use it going this way as a sideways pocket, just for a bit of interest, and again it just adds to that scrappy feel that we're trying to achieve. I like these three little birds here, so I was thinking of putting it just above and then wrapping it round onto this page, which then just gives this page a little bit of interest as well. So I'm just going to stick this flap down. I just folded that in half to add a little bit of strength. So let's just stick that down like that, and then I'm going to put glue down this side along here and just here on the crease where I'm going to fold. So let's just get some glue on there. And as I said, this is the whole point of these, is just to use your scraps and use them perhaps in a more interesting way than you would typically, or you know, I typically probably wouldn't do that halfway up a page, but because of the style that we're doing, it doesn't look out of place, if that makes sense. So yeah, these type of signatures are just it's an opportunity to be quite free with what you're doing, not to think or plan too much, and just see what you come up with. So come on, glue. See if we can get some glue on here. Along there, along the bottom. Again, I'm trying to minimise how much glue I put on because obviously I want room in that pocket. And then just along this crease. And then that can be stuck down. It's going to stick it there above these little birds. I'm not going to go right into the spine. I'm just going to leave just a slight gap to get some, let's say I'll get some tissue, but I haven't got any. Get that stuck down there, and then we can fold that over, and that just creates a little bit of interest on this page. Just gives us a little bit of a tab, and then we can open that like that, and we've got our little pocket there. So I will stick that down in a second. I'm just going to let that dry. And the next thing I found was from this In the Meadows book. Was it In the Meadow? In the Meadow. Oh no, A Year in the Meadow. A Book of Days. That's it. And this is one of the pages from there. It's I do a flick through of it on my thrifted book haul video a couple of weeks back, I think now. And what I thought I might do is just stick that on there for some interest. And then when we fold this over, it flicks out and we've got some lovely writing space there. And for now, I'm just going to leave that one blank how it is. So I'm not going to do a pocket or anything because we've got this pocket here. I'm just going to stick that down just as an interest point. My glue book all right? Yeah. Just to brighten the black and white on that page. Now this page looks to be going in the direction of quite bird and nature themed, which is fine by me. You can never go wrong with that. But if you've got a particular theme in mind that you're wanting to use for a journal, it's definitely an option for you to you know, go quite theme based with what you're doing. If you know that you use a lot of a certain theme, or that you're going to be making a certain themed journal in the future, it's a great option for that as well. Going to leave that like that so that doesn't stick together, and let's get this stuck down. Like that. So we're coming together now, it's starting to take shape. We've got flips and flaps and scraps and interesting pages and all sorts going on. I'm going to let this dry just for a few minutes before we continue, because I'm aware that I've now got bits of glue on quite a few of the pages. So I'm just going to dry it off, and then we'll just do the finishing touches. So I feel now that I've got a good base for my Scrappy signature pages. I'll give you a quick flick through. So we've got this bit here that lifts up and a pocket, which I just need to stick that down still. This bit opens, so I can either leave that to open, or I could glue here and here to make a side pocket. Not quite decided on that yet. It's getting a tiny little bit bulky at the bottom, so I could maybe just perhaps do a pocket at the top. I'll have to have a think about that. we've got opening up, we've got this page with a pocket and another little flip and just some interest there. We have this bit that flicks open for another pocket here, another pocket here, and then this flicks back on itself. We've got this little pocket we've just put in, we've got this tuck, and that flicks over and this opens out onto itself. And again, I have left this bit blank for the moment. So that's a really good base, and you could completely keep it at that. That could go into your journal as part of a signature. You could put some pages here and have that as your first page and back page of your signature. And then you could carry on doing a little bit of extra work. But I think what we will do in the next video is level up these Scrappy signature pages and see what we can add to them just to bring them to life that little bit more and to make them that little bit more interesting and that little bit more personal, and to add our own individual stamp onto them. So I have a few ideas up my sleeve of the types of things we can do. So we'll do that in a separate video so that this one isn't too long, and we'll leave it there for this video for today. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you managed to take a look at the next video where we will continue with these and adding some extra visual interest and other bits onto our Scrappy booklets. For now, I'll say goodbye and I'll see you next time. Until then, take care. Bye.